What's up, everybody? So I thought I'd do something that I haven't done in quite some time, and that's power carving. So I haven't done any power carving this year, and normally I power carve big bread bowls. And so I haven't had any of those for my table at markets here lately, and I've missed them a little bit. So I thought today I'd do a little bit of power carving, get the chainsaw out, get the angle grinder out, and yeah, just do some work outside. It's a little warm today, but not too bad underneath this big oak tree in the backyard. So yeah, let me show you what I'm working with today, and we'll get started. So here's the shallowest of the two. Still going to be a decent sized bowl. And yeah, from here we'll get the Arbortech turbo plane out, get the rough shape of the exterior, and then start dishing in the bowl. Alright, let's talk a little bit about equipment. So this is my Arbortech turbo plane. One of these days I'm going to buy me a quality adze and I'm going to do these by hand. But until then, I'll stick with my power carving. Again, just the Arbortech turbo plane mounted on my DeWalt angle grinder. I have used cheaper angle grinders in the past, but they wear out really quickly when you're doing power carving. The bearings in these guys seem to be a little bit better. So yeah, Arbortech turbo plane, such a cool tool. Tons of great videos out there of folks using these and doing incredible things with them. Bowls are really kind of basic for what these things are capable of. But yeah, that's the turbo plane, and then of course I use my chainsaw to rough the shape out. Alright, let's talk safety gear. So I'm really bad at this. I don't always wear the proper safety gear. Now, I do wear glasses and I do have prescription safety goggles. So I always have these on, which just, saves my eyeballs, right? Probably should wear a face shield, but, what's a few scars? Probably shouldn't say that. We'll cut that out. So yeah, so safety goggles, leather gloves, and this is more or less, honestly, I don't think it's really going to protect me from anything catastrophic, but they will protect my hands from getting splintered up from all the splinters that this turbo plane throws off. The other thing is my turning vest. This is a heavy leather vest that I use when I'm turning, and it just protects my torso. Yeah, it just gives me an added layer of protection. Always wear this when I'm using the angle grinder, because my biggest fear with an angle grinder is that it comes in, it gets caught in your clothing. So with this leather, it can still potentially pinch, but the leather's so thick that I think it would actually gum up the angle grinder much more quickly than, say, a cotton t-shirt. So yeah, my leather work apron, turning apron is key for that. And I've got the one with the collar, so it keeps the wood chips pretty much from going down on my shirt, which makes me more comfortable. So yeah, safety goggles, good gloves, leather vest, and what else? Oh, ear protection. These are my ISO tunes, so I can listen to some music, and they have noise canceling. One of my biggest fears outside of damage to my eyes is damage to my ears long term. So I'm fairly young, and I'd like to be able to hear in 20 years. So I wear these all the time, and I love them. This is probably one of my most used tools, hands down, and it's not even a tool, it's earbuds. This isn't a paid endorsement. These things just really are that cool, and if you're running power tools, I can't think of anything really better than they are. The fact that they're not too heavy and hot on my ears also is nice. So yeah, we'll flip the camera around and we'll start shaping. I'm pretty excited. I haven't done this in quite some time, so I'm looking forward to getting going here. Oh, I almost forgot one very important part of safety gear. I wear one of these N95 masks. I find that when I work with certain species of wood without a mask, my lungs get irritated. Now, short term, that's just a nuisance, but long term, that could cause some really potentially cancerous side effects. So, N95 mask works great for that. I do have a full-on respirator, but it's way too hot and humid out here, and I just end up breathing in all this moisture, and it's no good. So an N95 will do good enough to keep out the majority of the particles and maybe keep my lungs nice and healthy. So yeah, sorry, I didn't mean for this to turn into a safety video, but sometimes I think it's important, especially for folks who are new to this or just getting into it. These might not necessarily be things that you think of right out of the gate, and this definitely isn't intended to be a safety video or for me to judge you on how you protect yourself. You should only do things that you feel comfortable with, and you should prepare yourself the best way that you see fit. But just my recommendations. Let's get to it. Alright, so we made a pretty good progress on getting the dish hollowed out. From here though, I'm going to switch to the Arbortech ball gouge. So this is just a little more nimble of a tool. This is a little bit smaller of a bowl than I usually like to use the Arbortech turbo plane for, just because it gets a little tight in between the corners. But this is much more nimble, and that's where I'm going to go from here. I'm going to switch over to the ball gouge. Alright, we're getting close. So I have it hollowed out about the depth that I want. Could probably go a little bit thinner in some spots. But might work on that just a little bit. Then I'm going to switch over to sanding. For that I'm going to use flat disc on my angle grinder. This is probably about a 60 grit. And I'll use that on the outside of the bowl. And for the inside, I'll use this tool that I've made myself, which is just this little wooden block that I turned on the lathe with a Carter bolt through it. And I'll tape an orbital disc over top of this, and you'll see how that works here in just a minute. I'll use this in my electric drill. It'll spin and sand the inside of the bowl. So from here we're just going to take a 5-inch orbital disc and we're going to cut it like so. So this does require a little bit of work, but the money that it saves me on the specialty sanding pads for say like a 2-inch disc that goes on a grinder, and these don't fly off like you'll see here in a second. So you take this specially made tool, and it's going to go something like this, and then you'll wrap it around using your duct tape, covered in sawdust. And you're going to wrap it around your sandpaper, securing it to the little homemade attachment here. It's a little tricky to do and film at the same time, but we'll get it. You get the idea at least. This will go inside the drill. And I actually use this attachment on my lathe Some of you may have seen those videos where I sand the inside of the bowl of a spoon. Just like that, with a specialized sanding tool that's great for sanding inside tighter spaces. I'll show you how this works. Yeah, here it is. Quite a bit more sanding to go. I don't think I'll film much of that. You get the idea. We're going to get this all sanded up. I'll start wetting it in between sanding just so we get a nicer finish on it. It doesn't need to be shiny, the gloss surface or anything like that. But we will sand it up a bit more. What are you doing, Addie?
Spreading oil on the bowls.
These new bowls I just made?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that pretty?
Mm-hmm.
You like black walnut?
Yeah. Kind of looks like Purple Heart before you put the oil on it. Oopsie.
It's real pretty, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It has a pretty knot, too.
Well, here they are, folks, the finished product. This is the one you can see me working on in the video. And then this is the one that I finished off camera. They've just had a coat of oil. Still need to burnish these. So I actually have a stone that I use that I come back and I use a good deal of pressure, and it compresses the wood fibers, gives it a really nice finish, and it looks really good. So that's the only step that's left. I'll let these dry for the next few weeks, and I'll weigh them every few days until they stop losing weight. And then from there, we know that they've reached equilibrium, for my home at least. But yeah. This is a really cool piece. Make a nice centerpiece. Also makes a nice place to dump all of your pocket stuff at the end of the day. This one make a good bread bowl. I like the handles on this one. Some of the tool marks. Got the sapwood and the heartwood. Yeah, I think these both turned out really nice. And didn't take awful too long. Probably have about 2 hours each bowl. But yeah, really happy with how they turned out. Definitely need to make some more. Not wait a year before I do so. Thanks so much for watching, folks. Hope you have a wonderful day.